Hi everybody, welcome back to FRAG-MENTAL. I've been gallivanting a bit lately, most recently in my camper van, so I thought I'd make a video and give you my first impressions on the House of Gallivant. Stay tuned to FM. Cheers. Gallivant first came to my attention when I was watching a video on Chris Giorgio's Mr. Siage YouTube channel. Sadly, as most of you probably know, Chris is no longer with us, but his was the first video I saw. He was interviewing Nick Stewart, and it was a great interview. Nick was talking about the different cities, what those cities mean to him and how they've inspired him to compose these fragrances. So it was through Mr. Siage that I first learned about Gallivant, and I know Chris was a big fan. Chris and I talked about Gallivant when Nick sent me this discovery set. I was talking to Chris because I knew he'd smelled them all as well, and Chris loved them all. He liked them that much that he struggled to pick one that was his favourite. So I feel similar to that. I think I do have one or two that are my favourites, but to be honest, the difference between the one that's my favourite and the one that is my sixth favourite is just so minuscule. The quality across the board of these fragrances is fantastic. So thank you, Mr. Siage, for introducing me to this house, and I'd like to dedicate this video to Chris Giorgio. So thanks for introducing me to Gallivant, Chris. Cheers. Okay, let's get into the fragrances. So first, I'll just show you all the samples came in these really nice little boxes, and also in the packaging was a really cool Gallivant vintage style luggage label. So I really love the whole travel theme behind these fragrances. Fragrances for the urban explorers, and I think there's a bit of an urban explorer in all of us. So I think most of us who've done a lot of traveling, or even just a little bit of traveling, we can relate to the theme behind this house. Let's start with London. So I'm going to spray it on these lovely Gallivant cards. Okay, wow, London is beautiful. Kind of reminds me of something else actually. So the description here is floral, green, leather, touch of grit, dash of glam. Get a lovely rose from this one. It is quite a floral fragrance, but there's a watery note. I think there's some cucumber in here, as is listed on their website. By the way, go and check out Gallivant's website. There's a lot of information about each fragrance on there, well worth checking out if you're interested in getting an idea of any of these. There's also a leather note in this, and you know, this really reminds me of a leather jacket that I bought years ago. Sadly, I don't have it because I felt that it didn't really fit me that well. The time I bought it, I thought it looked awesome on me, but I came out of university and I decided that I wanted to be an actor, and I thought if I was going to auditions, I needed to look the part, and my idea of looking the part of a cool actor was to wear a vintage 1970s leather jacket. So I went and bought one from a charity shop, and that old leather smell, almost an aromatic leathery smell, this really does bring back memories of that for me. So very floral, quite light, not too loud, very, very pleasing. I could absolutely wear this one, no problem. London is gorgeous. Tel Aviv gets talked about a lot. So obviously I've been to London, haven't been to Tel Aviv, so let's give this one a try. Now, I just want to say that I don't think the idea behind this, Nick may correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that these fragrances are meant to smell of those cities. I think that would be pretty impossible to put into a fragrance. I think it's an interpretation. I think it's what those cities mean to Nick, and the memories that they conjure up for him, and he's tried to bottle that, to bottle those memories and the experiences he's had. And obviously everyone has different memories, everyone has different experiences, so if you visited any of these cities, then the fragrance may not smell like your interpretation or your perception of that city, but it will certainly be a very nice fragrance nonetheless. I've been wearing all these on skin for a couple of weeks as well, so I have had a bit of experience with them, and I'm testing them on these cards just to remind myself. And wow, I've got to say, Tel Aviv is stunning. So the description of Tel Aviv is floral, fruity, warm, sun white, Bauhaus architecture, tanned skin. And there is a touch of a suntan lotion vibe going on in this. It does smell like a fragrance that would be worn in hot and warm weather, in hot weather, in a city that is pretty hot. It's got a lovely floral depth to it. I'm not quite sure which florals are in there, but it's smooth, it's sweet, it's refined, very elegant fragrance. They're all eau de parfum. I believe they're all unisex. A woman could wear this as easily as a man could wear this. Those great fragrances that on a woman would be feminine and on a man would be masculine. This is definitely one of these, and in fact all of them in Gallivant I think have that effect. Tel Aviv is beautiful. I think I do prefer at this point Tel Aviv to London, although I do love London as well. Let's go to Istanbul. I haven't been to Istanbul. I've been to Athens, and I've been to the markets in Athens, I've been to the markets in Dubai, and I feel like there might be similar vibes to those cities, spice markets, traders. The description from Gallivant is ambery, woody, spicy, east meets west. Okay, this is sweeter, this is spicy, lovely spicy fragrance. There's a coffee accord going on in this. Really does conjure images of sitting in a hot, bustling city, drinking a coffee in a really nice cafe, looking onto the spice markets, seeing all the trade going on, watching the world go by, just people whizzing past, and the smells, the cacophony of smells. Really nice. Again, smooth. A lot of people are loving this one. This is a lot of people's favourites, and I can see why. Right up there for me, although it's difficult to decide which is my favourite of any of these because they're all pretty stunning. Lovely, sweet, spicy coffee vibe going on with that one. Istanbul is beautiful. Next one I'm going to look at is Brooklyn. So Gallivant described this one. They say it's non-stop, go, 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 energetic, with a creative and intellectual fizz. I like the sound of that. If that describes Brooklyn, maybe not the intellectual bit, but you never know. So I've been to New York, but just to Manhattan. Love to go to Brooklyn, love to go back to New York. I was only there briefly. So this one is absolutely bright and energetic, but without being loud or brash. There's some lovely bright citruses mixed with some florals and musks and amber, giving it loads of depth. This one projects really well. This one seems to perform really well off me. It's lovely and sweet, but without being cloying. It never gets too sweet. It's full of character. I'm sure Brooklyn has its dark underbelly, as most places do, but this definitely seems to accentuate just bright positivity. If I just conjure up an image, I would perhaps think of someone strolling down a gorgeous sunlit street in Brooklyn in the springtime with the spring in their step, feeling very cheerful. They're on their way to meet a friend for a coffee, one of their best friends they've not seen for a long time. The flowers, the trees are in bloom. They're generally in good spirits and looking forward to meeting up with an old friend. And this is a scent that I think kind of represents that. So Brooklyn is, as with a lot of these, it is another gorgeous scent. I could very happily have a bottle of this and wear this one. So yeah, it is on the lighter, brighter side, Doesn't have much of a kind of light and dark. It is more light than dark, but it is beautiful. Very nice. The next one I'm going to look at is Berlin. I have been to Berlin. Great city. You should try and visit if you can. So Gallivant described this as a woody, citrus, spicy, sexy, modern Bohemians. I don't think that's me, although who knows? You tell me. So again, I really enjoy this one. This is not as loud as some of the other ones. It's more subtle. It's got a dark, mysterious quality about it. The bright citruses balance really nicely with the deeper woods, creating that light and dark. And I think Nick has said about this fragrance that to him, Berlin is a city of light and dark. So you've got the brutalist architecture and scars from history. You have that aspect of the city, but just outside Berlin, you have very peaceful, gorgeous, tranquil countryside. So scents from both of those categories represented in this fragrance. So light and dark. And this is almost, I would say this has a subdued melancholy about it, but at the same time, it's also sensual and enticing. It's an interesting one. Definitely has an enigmatic quality. Yeah, it's not as loud, but it draws you in, maybe want to wear more on intimate occasions. So I do prefer the brighter, slightly louder fragrances from Gallivant, but again, I could easily wear this, very happily have a bottle of this and wear this one too. Berlin, very nice scent. We have one more. I think I've done all of them, yeah. Now I think this one's my favourite. This is why I've saved it until the end. So we have Amsterdam. I have been to Amsterdam a few times. I love the city, and despite what you might think about Amsterdam and what goes on in Amsterdam, this does not smell of cannabis at all. This is beautiful. This is the sweetest and the loudest, and this one performed best off my skin. It's a floral, spicy, woody, flowers, freedom, feeling cozy. So you can think about walking through the city of Amsterdam, smelling the tulips, all the flowers. It's a very bright city, it's a very vibrant city. This is a beautifully vibrant fragrance. I think that's why I like it so much. For me, it has the most character. So unique as well. It's like no other fragrance that I've smelled before. I couldn't really compare this to anything else I know. I really adore Amsterdam. Out of all these fragrances, I would say that this is my favorite. Tel Aviv is my second favorite. It's really stunning. I also really enjoy Istanbul and London. I could own a bottle of any of these fragrances. If I was going to buy one, it would be Amsterdam. If I was going to buy two, it would be Amsterdam, Tel Aviv. So it's a fantastic range of fragrances to smell all the offerings from a house and to enjoy all of them. For them to all be fantastic compositions, I think is pretty special actually. To release all these fragrances and for all of them to be really good is a testament to Nick and his perfumers. Because all the fragrances are so nice, because they're all pretty unique, I would urge you to sample them before you buy them. I wouldn't ever recommend blind buying a fragrance, although I have once or twice, but why not take advantage of the fantastic Nomad travel set that Gallivant offer? I think it's available for around £25, certainly in the UK. And that just gives you an opportunity to sample all the fragrances, see which ones you like, and really test them on skin, really wear them on skin. Just testing on paper doesn't quite give you an idea how it develops on your skin with your skin chemistry. I've travelled a little bit this summer. I'm currently travelling now. I'm in my camper van in the middle of the Forest of Dean. I'm just keeping my eye out for any wild boars, because there are warnings that there are wild boars roaming around these parts. And actually we were cycling yesterday and we did see a wild boar, so there are definitely wild boar. that'd be a pretty good video if a wild boar suddenly came and charged me while I was filming this. But even though that'd be great for views, let's hope it doesn't happen. So I love the idea behind Gallivant. I love traveling myself. I like the fact that they come in smaller 30ml bottles, so the perfect size for throwing in your hand luggage or in your suitcase. So great for traveling. You could even take 1 or 2 away with you traveling. Any of these fragrances would get noticed. I think they would get compliments. They're all really crowd pleasing. They're not challenging. None of them are challenging. So I don't think anyone would have any issues in wearing any of them. But purely to choose which one your favourite would be, I would recommend getting the Discovery set, getting the travel set, the Nomad set, and seeing which one is your favourite. That's enough from me. I'm losing light. I'm filming this in the evening. The sun's rapidly going down. There may be wild boar around here somewhere, so I'm going to get going. Please let me know what you think about these fragrances. Let me know which is your favourite. Please like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell to enable notifications. And until next time, keep tuning into FM and keep smelling good.